Hello, and get another warm welcome to Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Time for my weekly tips and tricks on various things to do with career management. Today, we're going to be talking about I am vastly underpaid, some salary negotiation tips. This is Tuesdays at 2, episode number 109. I am Martin Buckland and I manage and advance the careers of senior executives, executive master of business administration, and mining professionals. And I work globally. So because it's 2 p.m. Eastern Time doesn't mean to say I'm in the fifth or sixth hour of my work. In fact, I'm probably in the 10th or 11th hour of my work today. So I love what I do. I want to manage and help you manage your career and advance your career. So I am vastly underpaid. Some salary negotiation tips. I hear this sadly all the time. All the time. People are underpaid. They don't know their value. Every one of you watching today, whether it be live or on the replay, has a value. And I bet 90% of you watching under undervalue yourself. You are a product. You have that value. Make sure you understand what value you have. Just recently, I've had clients who have told me their salaries, and I know at around the $200,000 range, they are underselling themselves by 60 or 70,000. Their equivalent at another company, the competitors, is earning 60 or 70,000 more for simply doing the same job. Now, admittedly, many of them have been on their company for a long time. Once you've been at your company for about 5 to 6 years, they take advantage of you. They think of your loyalty, unless they want to dispose of you so quickly, but they think of your loyalty and then they take advantage of you. They don't give you your rightful salary and annual increases. So you all have a value. Please do yourself a favor. Know your value. There are so many people who underestimate their value. Know your value. So, how do you go about that? Well, do some research. With the advent of internet and LinkedIn, you can contact the person who has the same level, same job, same responsibilities as you at the competition, and see if you can have a friendly chat with them and ask them. Don't come out straight. Well, what's your salary? You need to build rapport, build a dialogue, and then ask them what is their salary. It's quite simple, and you'll be might be as absolutely astounded at what they say. Yes, occasionally they might be lower, but I bet a lot of them will be a lot higher than you probably think. Value, value, value. Anybody got any comments, any questions to do with executive career management? Doesn't just have to be talking about salary tips. Please put them in the comment below and I will answer them as we go through this Tuesdays at 2. So look at the equal at the competition. And then there's also various websites you can go to and you can find just a general ballpark of the figure that you should be earning in your particular level, your particular position, your particular geography, your particular industry. So we all have value. Know your value. So the idea of job search, and then definitely when you come to salary negotiations, is you need to knuckle down. You need to do a lot of research because you are building that once one chance business case. So you need to have all your facts right. So research, research, research using all the salary websites and connecting with the competition, people who are level to you, lateral to you at the competition, and find out what they are running. Generally, they will be after you've opened some dialogue, they will be open to sharing with you because everybody wants to be paid a decent salary. They don't want to be paid really high. Some people do, but they want to be don't we be taken advantage of really low. And I can tell you, I hear this all the week, every week. People are taken advantage of. Don't get into that spiral. If you are in that spiral and you can't get a salary negotiation going and your employer won't listen, what's your option? Get out. Get on the highway, plan a job search, have a resume, have a CV, whatever it is, and have your LinkedIn profile fully complete. So we got our first question here. George, I haven't seen you for a long time. So how are you? If a salary is expecting you to work from a home office, is there a salary range that should be met? Average two-bedroom in Toronto now costs 3,300 a month, and a salary should reflect that. Now, this since the advent of COVID, yes, this has totally changed the ball game. People working from home, so you have less expenses working from home. You don't have the travel, you don't have the insurance on your car for business. You don't have the transportation, whether you take the TTC or whether you take the big trains or buses or tubes or wherever you are in the world. Also, it's going to save you a lot of time. You have a lot more, hopefully, time on your hands because commuting takes time. I know people who commute for long distances, who commute from continent to continent every week and then come back. But yeah, so you have a lot less expenses. So if you are willing to compromise, but still you have your value sitting in your home office, you are doing exactly the same job. So don't come down by that much because you still have a value. So George, I would say keep your value up and very small decrease. That's what I would say professionally, but a great question. So, Aldo, welcome, Aldo. We got some really old people. People that have been listening to me for many weeks here. Great to see you both, George and Aldo. Anybody got any other questions, comments on resume writing, CV writing, personal branding, executive recruiters, career management? What job market is like. I'm more than happy to answer any question. So the key to entering into a salary negotiation is research, research, research. So look at the various criteria that you can measure and you can articulate in the meeting, the be all and end all meeting, when you enter in those vital, those crucial salary negotiations. So the geography. So working, let's use Canada, where I'm based right now. Canada, is a big country, coast to coast. There are differences in geography. There are differences in the cost of living from the East Coast in Halifax all the way through Montreal, Toronto, and then the middle provinces all the way through to Vancouver, which is a very expensive place to live and work in. So be aware of the salary within that geography. Now, also coming into play are the years of industry expertise. How long have you been in that industry? If you've been in it 20 years, you obviously know that industry very well. So rather than a newcomer who probably doesn't, so you should be compensated for the knowledge you stored up here over the years. And then your years of leadership. Every year you add to your value. The more leadership you have and the higher you go, whether you go from senior manager to director to vice president and then the C-suite, you get more steps and more responsibilities. Plus, you should be compensated a lot more between those steps. But even at the director level and then the vice president level, there are various years of leadership. How long have you been a VP? How long have you been a director? Then, of course, there is the education. So those that have a master's degree or even a doctorate then should be compensated because of the knowledge that they've learned in that academic designation, degree, designation, or whatever. So education, you can get the ROI back on education pretty damn fast. I'm a global expert in executive master of business administration, EMBAs, and some of those programs hit well above 200,000 US dollars for the program. I know, if they want to advance their career, but they also want to get the ROI back, they can get that back in about 3 years. The whole 200,000 USD. In fact, even shorter, 31 months is quite often. So you need to think about your education. You need to think about your skill set outside your education. You've learned some skills. You may have steered the company through a transformation, change management, continuous improvement, lean, all sorts of different things. What licenses, what licenses or certifications do you have? Everything counts towards you building a business case. So let's go through that again. Your geography, where are you? Is it very expensive? Is it cheaper than on the East Coast? Yes, it is. Or is it more expensive on the West Coast? You need to have to put that into your equation, your business case. Your years of industry experience, your years of leadership, your education, your skills, and your licenses and certifications. Let's take another question before we go on to the next topic. So, Georgia says, IMO, company saving and office charges should be in some way allocated to the employees who living in Toronto must pay 40K per year. Yes, I agree, but that's sadly not the way that people or influencers at majority of companies think that way. So the best option would maybe to do 3 days in, 2 days out, or vice versa, and then you get the best of the two. And Aldo says we don't just negotiate salary, but also things like vacations, benefits, and other days off training. I'm going to speak about that, Aldo. So stand by. That's in my presentation today. So we're going to come to that in a nutshell. But it's a great comment. So salary is very, very important. Don't be taken advantage of. So many people are taken advantage of. So now you're starting to build a business case. Jot it out, take it down, and then start memorizing it and rehearse the presentation you are going to give to the person you've chosen to deliver that presentation, that salary negotiations. When you're going to embark, you're going to enter into a salary negotiations. Take that on board, but be prepared. The more you rehearse, the less nerves you will have. It is going to be it might be a rocky road, but it might be a road where it's so flat and you might sail through and you might regret you haven't asked for more. So prepare your business case. Rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. Anybody got any other comments apart from Aldo and George? I'm more than happy to answer any questions, not just today's topic on salary tips, but any questions relating to career management. So once you're comfortable, you've rehearsed, you've jotted it down, you've rehearsed in front of a mirror, you've got it down to a pat. Then you can say to the person you choose, probably your boss, and you want to spend some time with them. Don't mention salary negotiations. Preferably you should go to the office environment and try not to do it by Zoom. Try to do it in person because this is a very personal meeting. There is a lot at stake for you. There is a lot at stake for the employer. So try not to do it via Zoom because Zoom is a barrier and you cannot express yourself via Zoom. I personally far better present in person than presenting on Zoom. So rehearse, 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 and then ask for a meeting, an informal probably a more relaxed location. Could be a lunch, could be a breakfast, or could be a dinner. And of course, right now it's Christmas time, so now is some reasonably good time to season the season. The holiday season is perhaps a good time to go out and take your boss out and maybe treat them to a meal and discuss your salary negotiations for a new year, which we're just on the cusp of a new year. So think about that. Take them to another location where the emotions probably are simmered down, they are lowered, and people won't get as heightened in their conversation. You want to keep the conversation, the dialogue, as low as possible. Don't overstate, don't go over the top, but have a minimum number where you want to go and have a maximum number. Now, it's like anything, start off high and you can work low. You can't start off low but go high. So, if you've got a number in mind, aim for that number, maybe a little bit more, and then you can come down. So, it's give and take. Lots of give and take when you enter the negotiations. May take not just one night, may take several weeks, but be patient, but pursue it because you all have a value. And then, as Aldo said a few minutes ago, yes, coming into this, you need to think about all the ancillary stuff that goes into salary negotiations. There is a lot of stuff, all your benefits, your vacations. So, can you squeeze an extra 5 days, 1 week out of your boss for vacation? Can you squeeze some extra pension benefits, some extra health benefits? Can you get a cell phone or a loan of a company car, or can you increase your mileage if you already have a car? Or there's all sorts of things that come into this equation, but that's where you need to do the research. You need to understand your value. So we got another person here, Matthew. Welcome, Matthew. Um, do you recommend negotiating all aspects of the package at once, or should you lock in the salary, STI first, and then tackle the other details, i.e., leave separately? So Matthew's got a great question. Let me repeat that. Matthew Blotel. So, do you recommend negotiating all aspects of the package at once, or should you lock into the salary STI first and then tackle the other details, the leave and all the other benefits separately? Well, it depends. Some people, some decision makers, leaders prefer you to lock it all into one and bundle it all into one. Other people say do a little chunk at a time, but the basic is you need to do your salary first. And then, oh, by the way, I just want to let's discuss my vacation. If you don't get what you want on your salary, that opens up the dialogue, the conversation for, well, maybe asking for an extra week or maybe asking for other benefits that go within your package to boost it up somewhat. So you have that ammunition under your sleeve waiting for you, just in case you don't get the base number. But also, we're also entitled to bonuses. It's not just the base. The bonuses can be high as well. So you could increase your bonus from, say, 30% to 40% on top of a reasonable reduction increase in salary. So you've got a lot on board here. You've got a lot going for you, but you just have to strategize it. You can't just jump in and think you're going to do it. The more you do the research, and then you have the research from, well, what does a director of my function earn at the competition? And put that to your boss or your boss's boss, whoever's your opening dialogue with. So you're well armed. You're going into a sort of battle, but you want to keep the emotions low. You don't want to raise the tone. It's a conversation. It's a dialogue between two people to see whether they can meet your request for a salary increase. So think about benefits. There's tons of different benefits that you can go, but keep the meeting very cordial. So anybody got any other questions? I hope that's answered it, Matthew. Once you've got that main crux out of the way, then you can move on to the other ones. Because if you didn't get what you wanted initially, then you can carve away at the other benefits and maybe push those up to compensate for what you didn't get in the initial thrust of the negotiations. Anybody got any other questions to do with career management generally? I'm more than happy to answer them. Here's my here is my let me just bring my email up on the screen. Anybody want a free, no obligation resume critique or LinkedIn audit? I will give you a free 30 minutes of my time, but I will say it as it is. You only get one chance to make that first impression. So I'm more than happy to give you on your resume, your CV, or your LinkedIn. I'll give you a LinkedIn audit. We'll go through it to top to bottom. More than happy to do that. And if you want some further information, like a bank, a full bank of valued videos, please go to my YouTube channel and do me a favor and press the subscribe button and the bell button. Well, you'll be notified of all sorts of future videos to come. I've got another studio there. I'm going to shoot some in the next few hours. So please go to my YouTube channel, press the subscribe button, and then the bell button. So anybody got any other questions that is on their mind? Body language is important. Don't use Zoom. Very true, Aldo, because you can't gesticulate your passion, your commitment as much as you can at an in-person meeting. But really keep the emotions low and be cordial because they've got their own salary to negotiate with their own boss. So it goes up the ladder. So anybody got any other questions? I'm more than happy to answer them. If not, I will be back here next Tuesday for my final Tuesdays at 2 of 2022, and the title is Season's Greetings, Merry Christmas. What will 2023 bring in my career? So I'm putting out some feelers now with executive recruiters across the world and other people I know on what they see in 2023. It's quite interesting. So there's nothing written in stone. There never is, as far as a career is concerned. But hopefully I will see you back here next week, Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. Have a great week. I will see you next week.